it's going your own way. Choosing to not conform, guys. For me, it's choosing to not conform to the expectations. I'm really tired of hearing that you must get married now or things like that. You need to find a man. It's like as if it's a man is now a completion to my life. Like you studied now, you got a job now to just cherry on top. Now it's a completion. You need a man. Whilst it's not the case. So it's just for me, it's just doing your own thing, choosing your own path, and not really conforming to what is said, like, what is expected of you and stuff like that.
Oh, that is brilliant. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And I see that Umobile has raised her hand. Please come through, Queen.
Hi guys. I just thought that I'd just jump in because Uzuzip already just covered something that I 100% agree with. I honestly feel that there is no one way to describe what it is being a woman, because I think as a society, as we're experiencing different things in different industries, different communities, it's a constantly changing thing. So I honestly feel like being a woman is not the same now. It won't be the same for me today where I am as it will be for me tomorrow or like on Monday in a different meeting or around different people. So you choose what type of woman you want to be depending on where you are in life, what context you're in and stuff like that. So I honestly agree with what Uzizipo said. We are constantly redefining our womanhood, depending on where we are and what we're doing, because what we're finding is that we're in such a tricky space in society where our mothers and our grandmothers had their own definition or their own thoughts of what womanhood was. So we are now the game changers. So because we're changing the game, we're changing the playing field, there is no one way to define our role. We constantly have to adapt ourselves. We constantly have to try and occupy space in different ways and in different intensities, depending on the type of people or spaces that we find ourselves in. I think it's a forever changing context depending on where you are in life and depending on your lens as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Mobile. That makes crazy sense. And I think Lerato would also like to add on to what you said, because I think she has the floor. Lerato.
Sure. I think for me, it's amazing to be in an environment where there's just young women. Not sure, but it seems as though if I had to average everyone's group, we're talking between 24 and 28. And I think probably I'm above that. I am in my 30s. And just listening to the women that have spoken, thinking back when I was in my 20s, I wanted to settle down so badly because I thought, now that I've studied and now that I have a car and, now my parents are ready to send me off and get married, And one of the things that I say to myself that, I don't want to settle down if I am still driving the certain car, or I don't want to have kids and come in a taxi, so that's how I measure my life, and then as time progressed and I got into corporate, I climbed the ladder and I was very clear and specific to say, all right, if I'm not going to make it in the entrepreneurship world, let me rather gun for executive position when I get to corporate. And I really worked hard. And the harder you work, guys, some of the things they lack, and you end up not really focusing much on relationships because you're constantly working on weekends, you're trying to do your research and always being step ahead. And let's not forget, being a Black woman in corporate, it's also a jungle on its own, So, and I find myself having to try to juggle life, family, and also the boyfriend and corporate, and it's a huge challenge for a lot of us. But I think if you know what you want out of life, and if you also form yourself a good circle of people that are going to be supportive. And yes, I still go to family gatherings. Ushatanini, ooh, you are working so hard. Ooh, you are driving this nice car. Where is the child? You can afford a child. You know what I'm saying? And for me, then it also gets to a point of, yes, I can do all of those things, but I also want the right person to do it with, you know? So all I'm going to say to you young ladies is that, you know what, enjoy it while you still can, work hard as much as you can, build a name for yourself. Are you knocking for me to stop?
No, sorry. Working from home, guys, is so difficult. My little brother I can hear him, so I'm just knocking like, yo, dude, I'm so sorry for that. I literally could not resist. I want to wring his neck.
That's the joys of
sorry,
being at
guys.
home.
I'm so sorry.
Sure. So all I want to say is that, you know, go out there, do what you need to do, incorporate, make sure that, you know, you leave a mark. You make sure that, you know what, you create a space for you where no one can fill. And when you look back and everybody around you says, you know what, that girl came in and she did what she needed to do, you know? So I think, you know what, if you have the time to do it all, but then always put yourself first. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love how you are literally just like flowing into the next question that I was initially going to ask, which is like, if you could meet yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell yourself? And you literally just put that out for us in such a beautiful context. And I think I saw Nobutle's hand there. So as she flows into what you were saying, I would like for her to also tap into that space of who she could have been 10 years ago and what she would have loved to say to herself 10 years ago, because I loved your realization of these kind of things. And I think these are the things that we also needed to hear. So Nobuhle, would you like to do that for us, please?
Hi, everybody again. I'm loving where you guys are going, and it just made me remember something that I was having a conversation about, that you can't really define for everybody what being a woman is or what being a human being is, because I think we're all guided by our destinies, our purposes, and what our souls burn for. So everybody, when you know who you are and where you're going, I think it defines what being a woman is for you in that context. And I think I heard somebody, we talk about patriarchy so much, and we talk about the expectations for us to get married, and it's so difficult. Let me not say difficult, but I'm just gonna say it's a bit more complex for women who are doing something with their lives to get married, because you've come to certain realizations, and it's not really the first thing that comes into mind. You do want to get married, but it's not the end goal. For like, we've got so many things that we push for. But what I'm driving at is that I think being a woman is defined by where you're going and who you are, and what it is that you want to achieve. There is no specific definition that this is what a woman is. So purpose drives whatever direction you go into. And what I wanted to say was, we're so different from the generations that came before us, because of the opportunities that have been laid for us, because of the more exposure to the world that we have. However, I just want to say this, it's so important that you remember to take wisdom and also let go of the things that push you to become confined in spaces that are not meant for you. And what I mean by this is, we do acknowledge that there's certain things that the women before us should have not conformed to. But because we're trying to break those barriers, we also fight against the wisdom that comes with it. It's not always nonsense that our grandparents and our mothers tell us, our grandmothers. Yes, we don't conform to being told that you understand what I'm saying? So it's not conforming to things where you need to stay in abuse to keep a marriage together. But you do confirm to the fact that as a woman, you need to work hard and you need to be courageous, and that's things that you learn. So not everything that we learn from the previous generation is garbage. But so as women, I think as you're paving your path, you need to seek for the wisdom to know what to hold on to, and what to change as a generation that has the platform to do so. And coming into your question of me 10 years ago, I always say this. I've personally there's been a lot of growing. There's been a lot of mistakes that have been made, but there's nothing I would change. Oh, sorry about that. But there's nothing I would change, because it's basically brought me to where I am, and it's made me the wiser that I am, and it's made me appreciate certain experiences. So we are who we are because of the experiences that we made. Yes, they were painful, but I think it's always better to realize and learn. I honestly think that a lot of us, we take time to grow from our mistakes because we go into into a denial period. Where you don't really learn from your experiences, but you just want to numb yourself from the experience and move on to the next one. So my advice would be, whatever it is that happens to you, don't numb it, embrace it, so that you can grow from it. And trust me, you won't regret any moment of your life, because it always leads to a greater glory somewhere, somehow. I think, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I loved every single part of it, and I just feel like you literally just took everything together and put it together. Thank you so much, Nobuhle. And Bali has had her hand up for quite some time. I'm so sorry. I'd love to hear what you have to say, Queen. Come through.
Okay. Yeah, I actually want to go back to what Sissy was saying, because I resonated with what she said so much, in the sense that, for the fact that 10 years ago I was 18 and I had all these plans, and I had almost like my life planned out, like, okay, I'll study, and then I'll do this, and then I'll be working, and then I'll have my own place to stay, and I'll be married. And I had this big master plan that I thought, okay, this is how my life is going to be, and it's how it's going to pan out if I just show up and I do what I have to do. And boy, did life slap me across the face and say, girl, it's not really about that, it's about just taking it step by step, showing up as you need to. Well, I'm very religious, I'm a Christian, so involving God in every step that I take, and knowing that and do it for myself, like finally. And I think more than anything, for me, that's what being a woman in 2020 is. It's just knowing that you need to actually wake up and go for it yourself. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you intend to do with your life, you need to wake up and go for it. And you must know that it might not happen in the way that you thought, but that's just a stumbling block. It's just a learning curve. It's just motivation for you to keep going and to keep trying and to try other ways. And as a woman, I mean, a lot has changed, but at the same time, so much has not changed. And I realized that the expectations and the plans that I was making when I was 18, which was 10 years ago, was also based on what society was dictating to me about what it is to be a woman, and what you should do as a woman, and what you should have, and you should get married, and you know what I mean. And now, as I've grown up, I've realized that, okay, if I do get married, I do get married. If I don't, then I don't. It's not the end all and be all, you know what I mean? And it's just about that. It's about being the woman that you are and feeling comfortable with that, and being relentless about pursuing what makes you happy and what fulfills you. And society will catch you on the way, but I think more than anything right now, for me, this year has been a big year. Women are starting things, they're having their own businesses, they're starting their own channels, own podcasts, own everything. And women are supporting women. And I see that it's because we know that Kuraf basically Archer. So we literally have each other, and for me, that's what being a woman is about. And womanhood in 2020 is just, for me, waking up and doing it for yourself every single day.
Thank you so much, Mbali. I am so in love with these these things that you have literally come up with. And you just literally reminded me of a time in my life where I once upon a time thought I would be married at 23, and life did happen. Right now, I'm not even looking in that direction. I'm just like, you know what? Let's just leave that for that. Let me just establish my prayer life and get my life together. Lebogang has just joined us. And before I go to the ones who raised their hands, I think she should just come through and say hi. Lebogang. Where is Lebogang?
I'm
Thinking
here.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, man, I joined a bit late, but I don't know. I'm just struggling with network right now. Can you guys hear me properly though?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Because when I put on the camera, it's just battling. But anyway, hi everyone. I'm Lebogang. Lovely to meet all ladies here. I was scrolling and I saw several names and stuff. Hopefully this is a great chat. I got in when one of the ladies was speaking, and it's very profound and everything. So yeah, happy to join.
While you added Lebogang, since you just joined us, Shireen, I saw your hand was up. You will continue now. And please, while you added, find a flow with what Lebogang is about to answer. When we were watching Miss South Africa, when Zozibini Tunzi won, she said that answering her question that South African women have literally nothing to smile about. But I just want to understand from those who feel that they literally still have something to smile about, what is it that you celebrate most about being a Black woman, Lebogang? What would you say you celebrate the most about being a Black woman in this kind of society that literally puts us at the bottom of the hierarchy?
I got it, definitely. Yeah. Being a Black woman is is a powerhouse in a way, because I feel like Black women never give up. They never allow things to change them, things to demean them. I mean, even when it comes to office politics and all of that, and politics of whether a woman should always be in the house, cooking and serving, and that is what a woman is. But Black women lately, right now, in the society we're living in, are taking their power back. They're living and taking their power back. And I just love that, because we love our skin, we love our bodies, we love what we want to do. We are supporting each other lately to know more about the battles of each other. And I think the fact that we are powerhouses is what I love the most about Black women.
Thank you so much, Lebogang. And I'm going to pick on Shireen as well to continue with this answer and also bring back the point that she initially wanted to make. So, Shireen, what is it that you would say stands out for you about being a Black woman? What are you celebrating the most about specifically being a Black woman?
Yo. Yeah. Okay. Your question, the answer is not on the tip of my tongue, but I will definitely agree with Lebogang in terms of how courageous we are as Black women. The fact that we know that most things don't come easy for Black women, it gives us a drive to get what we want, not to give up. And in the process, we are encouraging the younger ones, the people that come after us. And it becomes, instead of it becoming a thing of, when they look at us, it's not a matter of, oh, they're doing what they can do to achieve whatever they want to achieve, but it's a sense of, this is how it's done. Like the encouragement is a matter, it rubs off as, this is being a Black woman, this is what you have to do, you have to, so that is what I like being a Black woman. That's the sense I get when I look at myself, So I wanted to also add on to what Bali N said, about unlearning what society has planned out for us as women. Like, we should always remember that, okay, there are some women who never want to get married, who never want to have children, and that does not make them less of a woman because they don't want to get married or have children or have a family, you know? And I feel being a woman in general in 2020 is a matter of unlearning what society has planned out for women. So if you can't cook well, that does not make you less of a woman. You are a woman regardless. If you are not domestic, you are a woman regardless. So that's the point I wanted to.
Thank you so much. That is actually a very, very valid point. We are literally living in an era where we are trying so hard, and by all means, as women, to redefine ourselves and literally first belong to ourselves before belonging to anyone else. I see that Mobile and Mbali have raised their hands, so I'm going to allow them a chance to speak. And then next time, I'm going to pick on the ones who have been silent, because I did say that if you do not speak, I will come for you. So yes, we're going to start with Mbali.
I think what we can celebrate as Black women is our resilience. I know a lot of the time right now, another thing we're trying to unlearn or what on social media, they're busy saying, "Ubegezela," or team begezela, like they're saying we need to unlearn that. But I get what they're saying, because it can get dangerous, it can get very toxic. But I think we're very, very resilient people, guys. Like, I think being born as a woman is a struggle on its own. Being born as a Black woman, being born as a woman in South Africa with femicide, with everything, societal expectations, it's just difficult. But as Black women, we still show up. We still rise above it. We still hold it down. We're there for our families. We're there for our partners and the men and our kids. And we still also make time for ourselves and to look good. So for me, it's just our resilience and our fortitude and our ability to just keep rising, no matter what, man, as hard as it gets and as rough as the world is to us. But as Black women, I think we can celebrate our resilience and our ability to just rise up and keep on rising.
I second that. I truly second that. And I'm going to give Umobile a chance to come through.
Thank you so much for that. Like, Umbali literally just stole the words out of my mouth. But I basically also just wanted to highlight how being Black is hard enough. Being woman is hard enough. So being a Black woman, it's really, really, it's fighting an even harder battle. I remember I once did a study, I think a couple of years ago. I don't know how relevant the information is right now, but I just thought that I should share. It was about feminization in the workspace. And it basically highlighted how women are still being paid less than males in like your top industries, like the lawyers. I think there's quite a lot of people in law that will confirm or either deny this for me. It was a couple of years ago, but it just highlighted how even in the medical field, men still receive more priority than women. And even in terms of pay, like there's quite a huge pay difference. And then on top of all of that, Black women also receive quite a significantly lower income compared to women of other ethnicities. So it's just one of those things that it's so beautiful to see that regardless of all of those struggles, regardless of everything being against us, we are still trying to push. We are still pushing to redefine the norm. We are still pushing to tell people that, hey, we will define who we want to be, and we will tell you guys what we want to be, regardless of everything else being against us. It's hard being a Black woman. It is hard. It's almost like one of those things where it's such a hard daily reality that the only time that you get a break from being a Black woman is when you're sleeping, because everything in the grocery store, at work, at family gatherings, everything just shouts and screams how inadequate you are, how much better you should be doing, how your choices should be different. So it's really, really hard being a Black woman, but it's beautiful to see platforms like this that celebrate the fact that regardless of everything that we're going through and regardless of what of what everyone and everything else is challenging us with and is telling us what to do and what to be with our lives, we are still rising above. I don't think I've ever seen anything or anyone that is more strong or that is more resilient as a Black woman. So yeah, like big ups to you, Queens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mobila. You are actually making really, really valid points, because like at some point, we were discussing the gender pay gap, and so many people were literally unaware of the fact that women do the same job, do the same tasks, and actually do get less money. And I mean, like, obviously the case will be like that, considering the fact that this world is really patriarchal. I mean, you get into a workplace and the workplace is governed by masses of men. So obviously those are the kind of things that we should look into. I was actually listening to Michelle Obama yesterday. She said that we are having radical conversations at home, but then we are not applying them in the workplace. So we sit with fathers sometimes who praise their kids and tell them that they are going to be such powerful women, but then once they get into the workplace, they don't make amends to bring in women into the workplace. So it literally becomes a redundant thing. What are we doing if we just like having these conversations around the table, the dinner table, and praising these kids? But then once we get into those workplaces, we don't actually play the part of filtering out those spaces so that the women can come through. After Shireen, I will be asking Tabi saying these ones who have been quiet. We'll be tapping into the COVID pandemic through the lens of women. So Shireen, I see that you raised your hand. Please come through for me, Queen.
You guys were so articulate. I lost my train of thought. So sorry. No, you can continue. I lost my train of thought.
Naledi also raised her hand. I'm just going to give Naledi a chance, and then we're going to be speaking about COVID-19 through the lens of us as Black women. Naledi, what's up?
All right. I just wanted to put on what Mobila just said. Now, I'm going to come through on the, let's say, the workspace, the legal side. She mentioned that perhaps us in the law field can, confirm what she had said. Now, as a young female, and I say young, although I've just turned 30, so I don't know if young still applies, but young female who owns her own law firm, I cannot count how many times someone has asked me when I'm going to go do a bail at a police station that, aren't you scared? I'm thinking, but why should I be? No one asks a man, are you scared? I don't understand if just because someone is in custody, they suddenly become murderous and rapey just because I'm a female. If they were going to kill me, they would kill a man as well. I've had police officers asking me, they'll look at my business card or they'll look at my law society card and they look at the firm and they say, oh, are you working for your father? It's just so normal for them. And it does not make sense that if a young female Black woman could have started her own law firm. For them, it's just you're working, and they'll never say, are you working for your mother? No, it'll be, are you working for your father? Or is this your husband's firm? Everything will go back to being something about males. And it's a struggle that I go through every day. I will walk into a courtroom and I will find that I am literally the only female in the court personnel. And that includes the clerks, the interpreters, the magistrate, the prosecutor, all the other attorneys sitting there. I look around and I find I'm the only female. Sometimes there is another female, but I'm the only Black female. And, we talk about how there's transformation in the law, there's transformation in the workspace generally. I will tell you there isn't. We females, Black females in particular, are still at the bottom. I have clients asking me on simple cases that I've done plenty of times, a small corruption charge, they'll say, are you sure you can handle this? And I ask my client, would you ask a man that question, are you sure you can handle this? Because you're asking me that because I am a female. So for me, being a female and the struggles that us Black females go through, I think as much as we want to, acknowledge the power and the change and how we are not willing to stand for what our parents, our mothers, our grandmothers stood for, we still have a long way to go. Because as much as we females are starting to respect each other, and we're so far, because I sometimes get most of my disrespect from females, Black females, before I get it from males. We still have a very long way to go. And I think this is just the beginning of the fight.
Thank you so much, Madali. You literally just like pulled out so many issues. And I once read a quote from Farai. She's a feminist, and then she said to be a Black woman in the workplace is literally to be resilient, because honestly, every minor thing will be challenged, because I know personally from the entertainment industry, it is hell. Every single thing is hell. Like, I don't know how many times you constantly have to prove your worth. And I mean, like, if you're coming from an institution where you graduated and you literally have a transcript that literally shows your abilities or capabilities, and even after training, you literally come back to a place where you're constantly being undermined. And that in turn makes your work very difficult, because you're not only focusing on your work, you're also focusing on these, I won't say animals, but these people hounding you, or these people kind of like making your life very uncomfortable, hence making you unproductive. I saw two hands from two different ladies, and that is Tabi Sim. So I want Tabi Sim to come through, because she hasn't been speaking for quite some time. So I really would love to hear what you have to say. Tabi Sim, please come through, honey.
Hi, ladies, again. Shireen just touched on a very difficult subject that we do not even want to discuss. And being a Black woman in South Africa, and we still have a long way to go. I truly agree with what she just said right now. And there was a lady who spoke about ho tshwara thipa ka bogale. Mosadi o tshwara thipa ka bogale. Ana ladies ha ke tshware ka bogaleng, e tla o seya thipa. If we tshwara ka bogaleng, e tla o seya. So I do not do that. And in my field, it's very difficult to be a young Black woman who cattle breeds. People would ask you, what do you know about that? So I think, again, it's that the way we are so very powerful, we even threaten the other gender. I threaten her to a point whereby people would ask you, okay, why? What do you know about cattle? You are young to know about kettles. Women are not supposed to be in a kraal, and so forth. It's things that men tell us that we thought we are not able to do, but now that they realize that we are doing things that they told us we will never do them, it's a threat. However, ladies, Womanza, I'm so excited to be part of this group. I don't want to lie. I'm so excited to hear all what you ladies are saying, and keep on doing it. We have a long way to go, but we'll get where we want to go. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, honey. And I'm just going to continue to Bali, before we move on to the COVID pandemic. I see that you also raised your hand. Slow progress is still progress.
Yes. I wanted to add that, there's a lot of things that are being done in corporate, or even in terms of business and registration of businesses, where they want to empower women, and they say, yeah, we're specifically looking for a Black woman. Also, you know what I mean? You get certain points for having a female Black owned company and so forth. And there are even companies and in firms where they promote a Black female. But the sad thing is, they'll do that, but they will disempower you in the sense that you still don't have a say. You just have the title, they've given you this position, but they literally suffocate you, because they've put you there to benefit themselves. They don't really care about your say, they don't care about your view, they just want to tick the box and say, yes, we do empower, we have a Black female director at this firm. And it's really sad that in 2020 something like that is still happening. And also you find that even in business, because I do have a legal consultancy, and I do have a friend who also has a law firm, and other women in business as well. So I think it was Naledi who also spoke about this, that men and male clients will literally say things to you that they would never even dream of saying to women. So you'll be at a meeting with someone, and all of a sudden it's become personal. All of a sudden it's become, are you married? And can't I take you out for lunch? And it becomes inappropriate. You're at a consultation and it's formal, it's business, but now it's turning to be flirtatious. This person is now texting you after hours, or trying to meet you for dinner instead of a breakfast meeting. So it's very, very hard to also be in business and try and climb and succeed in business when males or men don't take you seriously. Like they don't look at you with the same eyes that they do a man. The things that they say to women in consultations or business meetings are things that they would never even imagine to say to a man. Like why would you care whether your male attorney is married or he has kids or what he likes to drink or can I meet you for? So it's just things like that where even though you're really trying and you are doing your part and like I said earlier, moving up in the corporate ladder, but men just have a way of sexualizing women. And I think that women who allow that and women who entertain men who do that are the ones that actually take everyone back. Because if you stand up against it, or if you refuse to sleep with somebody in order to get a promotion, or if you tell that client of yours that, okay, this is a strictly business meeting, this is inappropriate, I don't like this line of talk, then they will think that it's okay and they'll do it with the next woman and they'll do it with the next person that they hire and the next person who wants a promotion. So I think as well as women, we also have responsibility for each other and for women who are also coming up in corporate and in business to kind of tell men where to get off, basically.
I hear you clearly. You literally like highlighted the discussions that we usually have with gender activism. It's like some days we work all together, especially progressive women like the ones who are currently in this meeting. And I mean, like Nobile has been making valid points as well, and I can tell that she's very progressive as well. So there's a lot of like radical women who come together and we're very passionate about us moving forward, because I mean, like sometimes slow progress is so frustrating, and we feel that there's just like certain things that we move past, like getting into the working space and refusing dinner and getting to that point where you're like, the moment you step through that door, you're like, I'm not going to compromise myself. And then you have done that, and then just one person comes through and then they literally just tear down everything that you have worked hard for. And for you to even get to a point where you say that when I go through this door, I'm not going to compromise myself, despite all of these societal factors, despite all of this that is happening around you, I'm not going to do this, which is similar to certain points wherever there's like crime against women. And then there's 10 women going on about how this case is wrong or this rape case is wrong. And then you get one woman who comes through and says, what was this girl wearing? That takes down everything that we've worked hard for. So I really do understand where you're coming from. And also, why are you asking me why I'm married, if I'm married? Or I did not come here for this. Before I even go deeper, I would love to for us to welcome Geketseng. She just joined us. And here's the drill. Those who are late, we welcome them and then any questions immediately. So welcome, Geketseng. Please come through and say hi to us and welcome.
Hello, ladies. Sorry for being late. Yeah, the little that I've heard seems like we're having a good discussion. But yeah, it's good to be here and sorry for being late.
It's okay. I hope you've been well and happy Women's Month. So just to get you warmed up, how's life as a woman in this pandemic? Because right now there's a lot happening in the country as a whole. I know that some of us jobs are compromised. Some people are great in this period and some people are really not great at all. So I really just want to know how you are, how you've been, how has this pandemic impacted your life?
I wouldn't say it has negatively impacted me, but it hasn't been great as well. So being away from family, friends, and just being alone in an empty flat it's not the greatest. As a social person, you know, you want like family around, friends around on those lonely days. Other than that fact, I don't think it's been too bad. Not have lost a job, being grateful and thankful for that. Yeah, and it hasn't negatively impacted a lot of people around me, just for the fact that it's now becomes maybe 100 times harder for progress to be done, either in finding a job, either in doing business, and in all of those things. So people around me, I would say it's been harder. Also for myself in some aspect, in business aspect in a way, because I too have an NGO that I started. So we essentially host financial literacy workshops in rural communities. So that hasn't been able to happen. And all the plans that we had for the year have actually gone down the drain because we have to engage with people, and you can't necessarily do that over the internet when you're trying to assist people who don't have access to such facilities. So in that aspect, personally, it hasn't been that bad, but in that aspect, it has been, I would say, negative. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lerato. Oh, Lerato, you get saying, I'm so sorry about that. Before I continue, I see that Lerato has had her hand up. Please come through. I feel like you're brewing with something. Please come through.
No, I think I just wanted to add to what Mbali said. There's a lady who is my mentor. Her name is Amanda Dambuza. I think some of y'all know her. She also wrote a book called Baked in Pain. And she said to me, I remember we met for breakfast, and she was like, if there's anything that I don't do, I don't meet anyone after 6 o'clock for a meeting. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. If you need to meet me during my business times, and I took that and I ran with it, because I thought to myself, as soon as we start having the dinners at 8 o'clock, and then the next thing is going to be 11 o'clock, and then the next thing it's like, no, you can come to my place. And then, you know what, do you think you're still going to get business out of that person? So I think it's very important that, yes, you're starting a business, we're naive, we're excited. And the funny thing is that in as much as you enter in this world, you find that there's actually a lot of males around you instead of females, and you wonder that, but here I am, and I'm thinking that the best people to support me, or actually to hold me up, would be females, but you still have males around you. And yes, you're going to find those great males who are there to build you and actually want to take you to the next level. And you are going to get those that are just going to be there, just wait for Olatle, and then, for them, it's an opportunity to come in, So I think we should also just be careful of that. And I remember when I started, I said to myself, I will never go into tendering business, because, when I got introduced to it, there was just a lot of things in Jay. First of all, yes, you need to part with money, but also at the same time, you have these dinners so that you can entertain these people. And you're like, but when are we going to sign the deal, guys? Because I'm all about the guap, So and it's just so sad. So I think sometimes it's good to also go through it, because then you can proudly turn around and say, you know what, it's not for me, it is for me, and this is the kind of business that I want for myself. Because you also want to build a team, a team that's also going to believe in you. And when times are tough, that very same team will be there to support you, So I just wanted to just add to what Mbali was saying.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lerato. Like, honestly, all you've said really does make sense, because once you compromise yourself from the beginning, you're always going to compromise yourself all the way to the end. And once you compromise yourself, you really just cannot expect people to come through for you in a way that is of great value. And I saw that, and Tabi Sim also has had her hand up for quite some time. I also think she has something brewing inside of her. You can come through. Tabi Sim raised her hand. Are you
Hi,
there?
ladies again. I just want to add on what Mbali N has said before. When I started, I said I studied behavioral sciences. I did medical sociology, honors and masters. And the reason I stopped sending my CVs and going to interviews is exactly what you just said. when you get there, this man would ask you if you're single, if you married, if you have kids, and so forth. That's the reason I stopped sending my CV. And I've never been in corporate. I stayed at home 5 years. It's 5 years now. I've never experienced what I've studied before. And then with cattle breeding, it was a passion from home. And I'm glad that that passion, I made it to be a business right now. And then with regards to COVID-19, sorry guys, I need to leave you after this. With regards to COVID-19, it has been difficult for us farmers. Firstly, we used to people having to buy cows because of funerals and so forth. So with people now being subjected to 50 people to attend funerals, people cannot buy from us. And earlier on, we did not have to go for auctions and so forth. But now that auctions are opened, we are now able to buy and sell from the auctions. But it was difficult at the beginning, right now, but we're surviving. Peace, bye-bye, ladies.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. I
Bye.
wish you a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much. And Tabi Sim, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of the Women's Month. So for the ladies who are left here, we're still going to continue with COVID. So I did mention that when Zozibini Tunzi won, she said that South African women have nothing to smile about today. So beginning of this COVID period, I don't know how many of you realized this, but the moment the pandemic started, there was already a hotline for gender-based violence created for women across South Africa, which literally gives me stress from a personal point of view. That this means that authorities are aware of or have been aware of this whole issue of gender-based violence happening across the country. They're very aware of the rates. They're very aware of literally every single death that happens in the country. So I just wanted to understand from a couple of women, how does this make you feel that when immediately this COVID period started, immediately there was a hotline for firstly gender-based violence before anything else? Anyone is open to answering that. I have 4 hands and I'm going to take Nobile first, and then after that, can we get Lerato?
Hey guys, for those that joined late, I did mention that I'm a clinical psychologist by profession. So I really just want to confirm what Umbani just said. The reality of it is so sad. I can't even express what I feel, what I've been feeling in my heart and my profession for the past 3 months, for the past 4 months. The number of women that are coming in for consultations. I work at a public hospital. So the number of people that are coming in for consultations, reporting violence, reporting rape, we're having young girls go, the number has increased drastically. It is actually scary. I remember not so long ago, there was a time where I actually came back from work weeping because I think I had about 4 back-to-back patients, all expressing how hard this pandemic has been for them. People are being raped at their homes. People are being beaten to a pulp. The men are angry, the men are hungry, and the women are the ones that are expected to bear that. The men are demanding food. Where is my plate? The children are hungry. The women are the ones that are expected to bear that. It is so sad. The reality of being a woman during this pandemic is scary. I can't even find the right words to express it, how I'm feeling it in my heart, and to have to see that every single day. I had to take emergency leave one of the days because I was just not coping. It is just so sad. Violence has increased drastically. Rape has increased drastically. Poverty has increased. There's a lot more. I don't know. I'm from Durban, so I'm not sure about you guys, but there's been such a greater increase of I can't find a respectable way of saying this, but you know, the people that stand on the sides of the road, there's been such a great increase of those number of people during this pandemic as well. And it really, really hurts me when you see a mother and a child and they're begging on the side of the road, and you're thinking to yourself, even if I offer this person like a job or something, then what are they going to do to the child? Because they can't leave the child at home with the dad so that they can try and come hustle a few cents nyana on the road, because you don't even trust the dads anymore. So it is so scary. I mean, oh my gosh, like my heart cries out so much because I see this on a daily, and it's not a nice reality to have to confront, and it's not a nice thing to have to actually come to peace with and come to terms with. And our government is failing us. Our government has been failing us. I always say that I wish I could stretch my arms or stretch my heart even more. But the reality of it is that you end up even looking at yourself like differently, even as a professional, because you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could help. I wish I could do this, and I wish I could that. I could do that. And the reality of that is even scary enough. Like knowing that the only thing I can give this person is an hour of my time. Knowing that the only thing that I can give this person, the only hope that I can give this person, the only break that this person can ever get in their reality is just the 45 minutes to an hour that they have with me. So it's scary and it's real. It is so real. Thank you.
I am so out of words right now, so I'm just going to let Lerato continue with this, because I personally cannot even say anything at this point. Lerato, please say something. I see your hand is up.
Oh, okay. I'm all right. I didn't see that. Okay. Sure. Guys, when you speak gender-based violence, you know, it's so heartbreaking. And you know, I won't lie to you, sometimes when you're living in your own comfortable space in the northern suburbs, you think you're safe, you think you're okay. But you know, I worry that one day my car will break down coming back from whatever at 11 o'clock. What's going to happen to me? You know, I don't care about the car, they can take it. Yes, I stay in a complex, we have security, but I always think, you know what, when criminals come in here, they're not going to care for the TV, they're just going to care for me, you know. So, you know, you live in fear, guys. Like, it is so scary, but you actually live in fear. When I go to a public toilet, guys, I am terrified. If I am by myself in this public toilet, I start worrying that who is also in there with me, who will want to harm me, you know. So it has brought a lot of fear unto a lot of us as females, even when we do what we are passionate about, but the fear is always lingering, you know. And I think it should stop. I think it's very unfair that, again, you find that we are the ones that are also having these conversations, but where are our men? You know, what sort of conversations are men actually having, you know? Because it doesn't start with me, it starts kamajita. What are they talking about in the corners when they're having drinks and so forth, you know? Are they actually saying to themselves, no, guys, we need to protect our sisters, we need to protect our mothers, you know? And every day there's a story, guys, every day. And I think the one story, the many stories, is that when you're watching, I remember I was watching, can't remember the name of the show, and I think they were in some settlement, and you know, this young girl talking about how this man just pulled her, and you know, she just grabbed her. And guys, primary school, guys, I was the most happiest child in primary school, you know, going up and down my my schooling times, and I didn't have to worry. And here is a child who is going to be 18 one day, who's going to be 35 one day, and will carry that scar. And I feel that, you know, men or perpetrators of this sort don't understand the actual damage that they do to these young kids. And it is so bad that it's both male and female, you know. So the only thing that I always say to my friends that, guys, just be careful, just be careful. And, when it gets to a point where one even thinks of like, I think I should even get a gun for myself to protect myself, and very well that it's all about now you have to, as a woman, it's this jungle that you have to just maneuver around, so I think let's look after ourselves, let's protect ourselves, let's protect each other, and again, I feel, someone said the government is not doing enough. Nobile, you're very right. The government doesn't care actually, because they have bodyguards, they have drivers that are taking them around, their kids are going to nice schools, they have drivers. I think there's no touch to what is happening in the communities, and that's very frustrating, because our future leaders need to be coming from those communities, after myself, after the Mbalis, the Zizipos, there should be other young women who are having this platform. But imagine the next platform, all of these women are women who have been raped or who have experienced just gender-based experience. What conversations are they going to have? Because it's only going to be painful conversations. I am sorry conversations. I'm sorry it happened to you so many times. It's really sad, guys. Sorry, it's just too much. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, Bali.
Thank you so much, Lerato. And I saw that finally Zizipo raised her hand. I was actually going to pick on you. I saw that you have quite some thoughts in your head, because I saw your eyes and you put some thought into that. Please also tell us about this whole scourge of gender-based violence. How are you feeling about this?
Oh, yes. Oh, guys, I know I've also, it worries me so much. I even remember saying it to my boss that being a woman in South Africa has become an extreme sport. Like there's a high, level, just walking down the road, it's so scary. And my biggest fear, Nami, is just becoming another hashtag justice for Zizipho Mncwabi. And it's going to be a hype for just like 2 weeks and then it's going to die down. And it's just, it's gonna die down. I think even with the justice for Tshegofatso Pule, I think it was also so sad because apparently she worked at like a mall close to here in the West Rand, and they were like, if you went to that Edgar's that day, it was just like a mood of melancholy. You should have not gone there. Like someone told me, it was just so bad. People were just so sad and stuff like that. But how long are we gonna have those things, And we're just living in, even as a parent, I've even seen people who are parents, because I know my colleague was once saying that she won't even trust, if her, back in the day, you'd sit on your uncle's lap. She's like, she would never allow her daughter now, her daughter, 8-year-old now, to sit on an uncle's lap. Like, Kurinji, the way society, the moral decay, you don't trust your own uncle to just carry your daughter like you used to sit on your uncle's lap. It's no more, and it's very, very frustrating. And another thing is also with the system, when you go to the police stations to report this, you hear about how they're going to ask you how you dressed and stuff like that. Just last month, my sister and I went to the police station in Soweto to go. It was just opening a case, like a theft case, and we waited forever. And in the end, when you just see different people coming through to report, and nothing was resolved with our thing. They just told me, no, guys, just go, let this person go. She stole your stuff, your money, but just let her go. And I kept thinking to myself, imagine if I came there beaten up and I want to open a case now with gender-based violence. Would they make me wait this long? Would they ask me all these questions they're asking? I'd just give up at some point, And the thing about gender-based violence, or I think of femicide, I think of the book Angie Makwetla, Femicide, Family Relives Its Pain. When as much as if I were to get into a abusive relationship, I'm a sister to someone, I'm a friend to someone, and should I die, it's going to affect all those people I'm leaving behind. I've seen that, and it's just it's really sad. Of listening to lokuthi umfazi uyaqina, izinto ezinjalo, like no other things you should just walk away. And we're not in that space where we want to walk away. Why are you staying? izinto ezinjalo. And oh, one more thing, I remember, yeah, when I saw Angie Makwetla at the Abantu Book Festival, she was like, she's one old lady that always says, Uti, she never tells young girls in her family, like she never asks them, why, when are you getting married and stuff, because she believes that you are chasing these women into the hands of these abusive men at the end of the day. So I was like, oh my gosh, can we be those grandmothers now once we are that age? We stop even asking these little questions, which is, there's one person that could just be like, no, pressurize herself and end up in an abusive relationship. And it's because now of my expectations, you need to be married at this age and stuff like that. You don't want to come out of it because your biological clock and things like that. So it's those little things too that I also think about. Yeah, thanks.
You left no stone unturned, girl. Like you literally said it all. You said it all. Because also I think the main problem with how I think it was Ngobile, oh yeah, you said that the government is literally not doing enough. And I think the main reason behind this is at the end of the day, it's male domination there. Same thing with police stations as well. When you get into those spaces, we can tell that in government, obviously, if these places are run by so many men as opposed to women, they are obviously going to be taking decisions that are more beneficial for their kind, so you get, sometimes we are trying to get the government to make a change, whereas it's the same government or the same political candidates that go back into their homes and beat their wives and actually do rape their wives as well. So that is also very problematic. Hence, so many of us as women, we're fighting so much for representation in the political space because it's such a very important decision-making tool. Also, same thing with police stations. I know a lot of police officers personally from our township as well who have very bad stories of abuse, and you're like, okay, but if this person has such an abusive background and is running such an abusive home, why isn't he stripped off of his title in any case, but he's running the police station like that, so it really is very problematic. That's why these aspects of influence in society are the ones that we are fighting so much for. I saw that Naledi and Bali also raised their hands. I'm going to take Naledi first, please. Naledi.
Okay. I may have lost my train of thought, but I was going to refer to the question, the earlier question you posed about the gender-based violence regarding this pandemic. When that was announced initially, I heard someone asking, but I mean, what's the difference? Everyone will be sitting at home. What's the difference? Why must there be now a hotline set up? And it pained me to have to explain to someone that you understand that some women are essentially being locked up with their abusers. You are told you cannot go visit your family. The sad part is you walk into court and the clerks, the people who are supposed to help you fill it out, are not helping you. They're telling you to go away. I heard someone saying they tried to call the helpline and they didn't get through. So the issue of gender-based violence being on the rise during the lockdown was not downplayed in the slightest. Following gender-based violence, for those who were brave enough to, was the rapid rise in divorces. So many women finally deciding, I am done, and are trying to leave. Sadly enough, you then find out closer towards the easing of the restrictions, people saying, oh, no, we've worked it out. And, you stop and think, is it because now more people are allowed to leave? You're not being stuck in that house with that person. You're going back to work, you can work things out more, or is it really that you have worked it out? So I do definitely agree that it was on the rise. It still is on the rise. I mean, the Minister of Police recently released a stat saying the crime rate has decreased, serious crimes have decreased. And I thought to myself, unless you mean rape is not a serious crime, then I don't know which stats have decreased, because the number of rape cases, and I mean, as myself as a criminal defense attorney as well, and I'll have people asking me, how are you a woman defending men accused of rape? And I mean, I will do it because it depends on the story. I won't just walk in and any man who's accused of rape definitely did or committed the rape. But the amount of cases that the regional courts are filling up with rape cases. And that's because, again, the perpetrators are or were locked in the houses with their victims. And maybe people were lucky enough, people became so brazen with their actions because they thought no one's going to see this person, no one's going to get caught. But honestly, being a woman in South Africa during this lockdown was, as someone saying, an extreme sport. It continues to be an extreme sport. And if we are not careful, or if we don't take care of ourselves soon, it will stop being an extreme sport and we'll be an endangered species. Thank you, ladies.
Wow, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bali, wow, Bali, oh my goodness, I'm in my feels. But thank you so much. I am so in my feels right now because women really in South Africa, we deserve so much better, way better. And I'm always against how we are told to protect ourselves, we are told to wear this, we are told to, but the initial problem is, why are you even going my direction? Take yourself, go your direction, just leave me, let me go my direction. Why are you even coming my way? So I am so over this whole victim blaming, and in any case, with all that I do, the woman always is right until you bring your proof, because in this kind of country that is a rape capital, I am supposed to stand with women, because I mean, how else? It wouldn't make sense to literally just. Anyway, this is such a touching topic. I saw Bali.
Yes. Yeah, I actually, for me, this question that you just asked, it also goes back to what falls into being a woman in South Africa in 2020. It's just, it's one of the biggest challenges that we face, which is femicide and gender-based violence. Because, I mean, when women were in lockdown with their partners, it was their partners, but literally every single day you could be out on the streets and it's a complete stranger. You could be at the post office and something could happen to you and you could land up dead. So we're basically, like, as Naledi said, soon we might become an endangered species, because we're not safe wherever we are, out there on the streets and inside our very own homes. And I also don't like the whole thing of it being the responsibility of the woman to dress accordingly or to act in a certain way or to not provoke the perpetrator and so forth. But I do feel like that's just another thing that's been added onto the back of Black women in general, is to now have to actively be trying to educate our male friends, our partners, our associates, guys that we find ourselves in spaces with, on things like consent, something that you think is clear as day, something that you think everyone should know. You actually have conversations with guys that you spend a lot of time with, and you realize that they don't know simple things like that. So it's just something that's been added on to what women now have to do, is to speak to these men, try and educate these men, speak to them, try and make sure that we ride the point home and they do understand the implications of what they do. They do understand that your partner, you can rape your partner, you can rape your wife. And also the responsibility of raising boys as well. It has everything that's happening in the country, and gender-based violence and femicide has put a more responsibility on mothers and fathers raising boys to try and do better and to try and change whatever it is that might have gone wrong with the current men who are doing what they are doing in our country. So that's just my 2 cents on what being a woman in South Africa in 2020 now involves, and will probably involve until this femicide issue is resolved or stops. And gender-based violence is not part of our daily bread, and there's not a new hashtag that is being started every single day. It's just, we need to do more, we need to say more, we need to be more aggressive in our approach until something happens, because as we've seen, we're literally on our own. Like, the action that is being taken by the powers that be is just not enough. So we also have to try and make the change that we want to see in our communities, in our societies, in our circles, even if it is one man at a time.
Wow, thank you so much, Mbali. I've just been informed that we are down to 10 minutes, which can you actually believe that we've been speaking for that long? So I just really want us to tap into those ones who haven't been speaking, and I would love to ask them a question. Is Nobuhle still here? She's still here. Oh, yeah, she's still here. So I want Nobuhle to tap into the kind of social norms and the cultural norms that we find ourselves in the society, and whether or not she agrees with them, and those that she does not agree with, how is she going to rectify them? And then can Zizi Po come in on, I would like you to, where's that? I had a question for you. I did. Yes, I wanted you to tell me about the future of Black women and the notes that you would like to give to men. So I would like for Uzizipo to, when you do this, I don't want you to put yourself in it, because I know as women, we always like, we need to do better. Everything we tend to blame ourselves for. But I think because this has been going on for so long, I think it's about time that we tell perpetrators to do right. So I would like for you to do that for us. Let us know that what you would want men to do better, what you would like men to do, not us as women, because we have done a lot, we have played our part. And then I said Nobuhle should come in as well. I asked her a question. Is Nobuhle still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Oh my goodness, your question is good. Yeah. So society. Like I said when I spoke in the beginning, that our generation is definitely dealing with societal norms, right? And we are breaking so many barriers, but also we are not careful to not break heritage that actually builds, right? As much as you can see, I love what I'm seeing in this specific discussion and room. You're seeing so many progressive women. You're seeing women that are finding themselves or on journeys where they're establishing something for themselves. But also in society, we see that there's only, even though I said this, I think a few days ago, that we sort of have the illusion that many of us are doing great things, and there are many of us, quite a lot of us, that are doing great things. But because we are in circles where we only see women that are doing amazing things, we sort of blinded to the entire other side of women who are really spiraling down on the downfall. And I mean, you've got only just a little amount of us who are working for what we have, who are putting in the work for what we have. But you also have so many of women who still go to school and then they come back and they want a rich guy, and they still want to sleep around for money and all of those things. So there's still so much of a battle in society. But so with norms, I think we're doing a really good job in terms of moving away from things that break us. I made a note a while ago that we've started, as Black women especially, we've started to establish what we deserve. And we're changing the status quo in terms of what we deserve, whether it's in corporate, whether it's in love. We're no longer working in that line of saying, Gucci, you take whatever that comes your way. So we are now starting to demand to be recognized. We're starting by our actions, by how hard we work, by how much we invest of ourselves, by our strength. We are starting to demand wherever we go the worth that we deserve. And we want to be seen, want to be given the best of the best. And I love that about us so much. On Women's Day, I was saying that Black women, we're so strong, we're so powerful. There's so much resilience within us. But however, we've come to a place where our strength is being unnecessarily tested. You know, there are situations where we can show our strength as Black women, where we can pride, but also it shouldn't be unnecessary strength and tested. By that I mean, Uti, you should not stay in an abusive relationship because you're strong as a Black woman. You should not accept subpar kind of love because as a Black woman, you're strong. You know, yes, we are strong. Yes, we are able to conquer everything. Like Black itself is strong. I was just reminded now of from the world and how it is. Even the constructions that you see, it is always the Black person who puts in the labor. You know, we're known for brilliance. We're known for hard work. We're known for that strength within ourselves. But as Black women in society, the first thing I would say that needs to stop is that we need to stop allowing people, especially our men, from testing our resilience and our strength without reason. You know, the strength of a Black woman is so precious that it should only come out when it's needed. You know, it shouldn't be something where you have to be strong every single day of your life. That's not the destiny of a Black woman. It's not who we are. We are brilliant. We embody so much potential, because when a woman does something, she doesn't do it only with logic, but she does it with heart. And the legacy of Black women, or the legacy of Black, is always ubuntu. You know, that's the strength of who we are. And the last thing I'd say is that what society has taught us, because we're always fighting off this negativity, we're always fighting off these things that put us in the back, that we are starting to lose what makes us Black, what makes us women. And what makes us Black is that we're always fighting for each other. What makes us Black is that even when I'm priding myself as a woman, I'm standing on the highest pedal, and I'm clapping for Mbali, I'm clapping for Sissy, but that's who we are. We are a group that rallies around each other. And because there's so much negativity that happens around us, we are losing that. Yes, there are women that are trying to keep it together, but society, from how it treats us, we've become so defensive that we would rather be in our own corners and do our own things, because that's the only way we can, you know, fend off the hurt. That's the only way we can protect ourselves. But if we take anything from today, I think for me it has to be that for as small as we are, we always need to work towards embracing the Blackness. That Black is about who we are. It's about bringing each other together. I mean, I'm just gonna throw this in. So our company has so we basically build a company that is pro-Black. You know, we deal with creating sustainability in Black businesses and creating wealth in Black businesses. And it's a conversation that we've been having throughout the whole pandemic, trying to understand the mindsets of Black women and what we believe that what sustainability is, and how we can work together to make sure that Black people and Black women are creating sustainability, are creating wealth that can go from generation to generation. And one of the things people kept on saying was that, you know, we don't have resources, we don't have this and this and this. And for me, it's always been that the moment we start working together and not against each other, that's the moment we're going to change the status quo for Black people. And yeah, that's our society. I think the nature of our society, or the shape of our society, should not be that a Black woman must get married, should not be that you must have 1 million children, should not be that you must bow before men, but it must be that Black women come together, Black people, and I'm going to extend it. I'm going to say that the Black race needs to somehow stop fighting against each other and work together, so that we can reclaim what belongs to us, because we're so powerful. There's nothing we cannot do if we don't work together.
Whoa. I'm so mind blown. Thank you so much, Nobuhle. You've been quiet for quite some time, but now I understand, because wow, you've been building. It's been like a really crazy build up. Right now we're gonna have Sissy, and then ladies, we are going to have to close off. So I would like, after Sissy does her notes to men and how they can do better, apart from us as women, I would like for you guys to think of your closing words and whatever it is that comes to mind from you as an individual, you as a Black woman, and then we can all go out and continue being resilient as Black women out there. So Sissy, please.
Yo, Nobusha has said a mouthful, eh? Yes. Like she said, Uguti coming together. I was about to say that also as the Black race coming together. And one thing I've learned from Dr. Judy Dlamini is that whilst when she was growing up, she says her dad just already taught her that, yes, you're different, but you're equal. You're equal, but you are different. And those are the words she heard growing up. And where is she now when I look at Dr. Judy? And it's words she heard from her father. So I also want to hear that from men now and from fathers saying that to their daughters. No, yes, you're different, but you are equal. I want us now to, the future to be socialized in different ways. And what can guys do better? I want men to be taught just the concept of consent. Let's just start there. When Dr. T speaks about the concept of consent and to call each other out, because sometimes even when we neglect these things, even when we're in high school, for example, there's that one boy that likes hitting girls' bums and it's like, oh, unjalo, siyamiyeka. But no, there's someone that needs to call him out. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. That's wrong. So those things, those little things of calling each other out, telling and also staying in res, being in varsity, also taught me things like, just because she's drunk, you have no right to take advantage of that. Those little things which we need to call each other, because she's drunk, don't take advantage of the fact that she is drunk. No matter how much she tells you she loves you, or she has a crush on you, it's still no right. You still have no right to do that. But yeah, I think, and Nobuhle said it too. Nobuhle said it, coming together. But yeah, being socialized in a different way, like you are equal, but yeah, you're different, but you're equal. And can we really now start learning about consent from at a young age and be socialized to thinking, knowing what's right and what's wrong, and calling each other out?
Thank you so much, Sissy. Thank you so much. All of you guys are so profound, man. Every single time I'm like, oh, when I hear somebody saying something great, I write it down. I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, thank you so much, Sissy. So now we're going to round off with various women. I would like them to chip in, like I said initially, but I just want to give you guys the order, and I would like those ones who haven't been speaking, because I think they are a bit shy, I guess. I don't know. But I first want to have Shireen, and then Lebohang, then Dieketsing, so that they can have their final says first. So Dieketsing, you can go first.
Okay. So my final words is, I'm very appreciative of such platforms where we get to hear such profound and amazing ideas that come from women. And yes, I'm glad that other platforms where men are actually just talking and sitting by themselves and trying to find solutions, and that's always welcome. There's a long way to go, especially in this country, for us women to feel free again and to feel protected and to just be, it's said that we can't be who we are because of what society has in its head, and by society I mean men in his head, have decided that they would want to have power and over us, regardless of what we do, regardless of what we wear. They have said that in their heads, and before that changes, we still have a long way to go. And it's really sad and scary that each time you walk out of your house, and it's even scary that sometimes within your house, you are a second away from abuse. So it's really sad, but I'm glad that we're having such conversations, because if I'm learning and the next person is learning, then we can do better and we can act better. So that's always better place to be in. A learning place is always a better place to be in than dwell in idleness and dwell in not knowing. So I'm really glad for this platform and platforms that are to follow regarding GBV and any other social ills that are happening out there.
Thank you so much, Singh. And again, happy Women's Month. I don't know if it's a happy one for you, but I'm just gonna just say it just in case it is a happy one.
Thank you.
Shireen, you're welcome. The next one is Shireen. May we have your quick final words, please? Since you've been quiet, I'm gonna pick on you. Come through, Queen.
No, I've been listening. Sometimes you just need to take it all in. Okay. Thank you, Peter, for inviting me. We need more of such platforms. We need more of such conversations. My last words is just a reminder to all of us women. Let's continue being firm in what we believe in. Let's continue knowing our worth, and we should, if we should continue unlearning things that don't align with our own personal brands and purposes and destinies. We should continue changing our minds. We are women, we are evolving, we change, it's part of life. Let's continue changing our minds. Let's continue feeding our minds. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we are going to have a Lebohang. She's also been quiet. So, Lebohang, can we have your final words as a Black woman? What do you have to say?
All right, thank you. A quote has been sitting in my mind, basically from Maya Angelou, saying, if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And it's like hearing from everyone how unique they are, how they want to centralize and empower others. And I've been listening to that. I'm mostly a listener. And it kind of empowers me to think more out of the box. I don't need to be a man to do things. I don't need to wish to be a man to be able to walk and do something. I know I hold the power in me to be able to accomplish something. And yeah, gender-based violence is so cruel that you're always scared and asking for someone to always be with you or something to always happen. And we need to start the change, even though men need to instill it in themselves too. We are all equal, and we don't want to live in the normal. We want to live in an era that makes everyone equal and happy, just the way they are. We need to be appreciated and appreciate ourselves first. That's the best way to close it off here.
Thank you so much. And I also realized there is one lady who has also been quiet, and that is Naledi. Naledi?
Naledi just had to leave early, so.
Oh, okay, no problem. And then we will have Lerato then. Where is Lerato? Oh,
I did not know I was quiet. I didn't know I was quiet.
Oh. You?
Okay. It's okay.
You haven't been quiet, but yeah, for a while you have. For a while.
Sure.
For a while.
No, I think, it's important that, we appreciate such spaces. And it's important that as women, we continue supporting each other. And hence, that's why for me, it is important that, wherever we are, let's follow each other, let's support each other. Yes, we don't see each other every day, but you know what? A little, you're doing great online, it's enough to say that, I am onto something, and also I've seen that a lot of times as females, we are so terrified to reach out to each other, and trust me, ladies, you are not my competition, actually. Instead, I'd rather be working with you. I'd rather be supporting you. I'd rather, in as much as I'm in business, I think it's important for me to ensure that I have ladies who are in the law space, so that if I have an issue with a client, or if a client needs advice that's more legal and I cannot handle, I know very well that Mbali is around. I know very well that Zizipo is around, you know, and then I know that Ngobile is a clinical psychologist. I'm in a space where I'm in HR, and currently, because of the pandemic, people are going through serious depression, you know. Then I'm able to holler at her and say, you know what, girl, here's the situation. How do I actually maneuver around it? You know, do you have clients who have gone through the same thing? So I always say that as females, we need to have our own community, and the best people to build this community, it is us. You know, yes, we might be all over South Africa, but you know what? There's one place where we can meet, and that's online. Thank you, Bali.
Thank you so much, Lerato. And we have Mbali and Ngobile left, but then with these two ladies, I would love for you to choose 3 words that you think will be best to describe what it means to be a woman in the 21st century. I will take which one first? Whoever volunteers, who wants to go first? It's Mbali and Ngobile. Okay. Mbali will go first.
Okay. I would say the first one is fortitude. And I'll say this because, like I said, Black women and women, we do have the courage and the strength to carry on, even in the harshest of adversity, even in pain, even when the world is literally throwing everything at us. So I would say that one of the words that I would say describes woman, or what it means to be a woman, is fortitude. And then the second one I would say is becoming, because of all the women who've spoken today, and myself, I also do believe this, that you're never the same woman. A lady even said, I might not be the same woman tomorrow. I might not be the same woman on Monday. And it is said that every 5 years, a woman drastically changes in her life. So it's that excitement of knowing that you're constantly becoming. And even Michelle Obama's book, she does say that, you know, you're never just, it's done. Like, this is who you are. This is what you've chosen. This is the career you've chosen. So you're done. This is it. You're constantly becoming and evolving, and it's exciting. And I think that that's something that we can say describes being a woman. It's constantly evolving and becoming. So fortitude, becoming, and then the last one is powerful. Yeah, powerful. I don't even think I have to explain that as much, but it's because we're a force, and we're powerful, and we're strong, and we're stronger together more than anything. I think that with all the hashtags that go around, like right now, Fan Her Flame, there's all these things that exist. I think that the sisterhood that women have is very, very strong, and it's very, very motivating and encouraging. And a lot of the time people say that women pull each other down and they don't support each other. But I think that we are very powerful when we stand together, and when we support one another, and when we share that woman influencer that inspires you, or we share that woman business, or we support that woman with whatever it is, her business, her services that she offers, whatever it is. So I do think that women are powerful, especially when they are united. So those are my 3 words: becoming, fortitude, and powerful.
I think just on my side, what's been on my mind is that Black woman, you're enough. I mean, I think we're trying to strive in places and in spaces that cater to a man, that caters to a man who is anything other than Black. So we're constantly trying to prove ourselves. We're constantly trying to show up and to show people that we're also able and we're worthy and we're in it. So yeah, I think firstly is enough. We're enough. We're okay. We're doing it. We're showing up. The second word is able. like I said again, we're dedicating so much of ourselves to strives and environments that are not catered for ourselves as well. The workspaces are catered to be more convenient for anything else other than a Black woman. So you can do it. We are rising. We're making a difference. We might not have reached the final destination. We are on a journey of becoming, but we're able. And the last word for me, or words rather, is resource center. I think I'm speaking from a personal space and also from just what I've realized, that women do so much for everyone else but themselves. We're such big givers. I don't think anybody can give more than their own mother has to them. So there's just this thing in a woman that just enables you to just be this massive resource center for everyone else but yourself. So I think let's start doing it. Start with yourself. Start with Umbali. Start with somebody else that you know is doing something radical out there. So let's change the playing field. Let's level the playing field. Let's be resource centers for ourselves and for each other before everyone else out there. So yeah, stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. Tumbali and Nobile, thank you so much. Before I see Nobutle raised her hand, I think before she gets a final say, I think also Peter should come back. Shame, man, he's been quiet the entire time, and at the end of the day, he is actually the one who invited us. I think, is he even still alive? I hope he's still alive. So Nobutle can come through while Peter also comes through, and then I will say my thank yous after both of these parties say their thank yous. So Nobutle, you can come through, honey, and Peter, please come back.
So yeah, this has been so beautiful. But I think there's this, if there's one word that sums up Black women for me is the word everything. We are everything, nothing lacking, nothing missing. We are everything. And I think the moment we realize that we are everything is the moment we're going to push even harder. I think the excellence that we're seeing now is not even the tip of the iceberg of what we can do. And we are coming to the realization that, look, we've put men in power. I mean, I was thinking, we've been having so much backlash on the ANC and all of those things, and the other day I was thinking, somebody was asking me if we put them out of power, but then who do we put in? And I was saying there are some Black powerful women that need to stand up, because I feel like there's just so much we can do, so much change we can make, that the moment we realize that there's nothing lacking from us, that there's nothing that we are missing, and that maybe probably the liberation of Africa and the growth of Africa lies in the hands of women, Black women, that is. So yeah, going forward into the week, just remember, you are everything. There's nothing lacking of you. There's nothing missing from you. You are absolutely everything, and everything starts with you.
Thank you so much, Nobutle. I feel like everyone just feels so fulfilled by that. Where is Mandla? Where are you?
I'm here, sorry.
Is he even alive?
I don't know if you can hear. But first of all, thank you again, guys. It's been an actual, and I don't even know how to describe this, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys. I think when I speak about the idea of having an episode where it's just women and speaking about whatever you guys want to speak about, the whole idea was initiated by, when you watch some of these TV shows, interviews, and discussions on TV and online, it's usually when women speak about their issues, it's always limited to the struggles that women go through. And, it's always the most severe case where a woman has been, molested or raped, and then worst case is that they get killed. And then that's only when we speak about these women. And we don't actually get to celebrate them whilst they're still alive and, whilst they're still young. And I think that's part of the idea that, why don't we give women and celebrate women before, why do we have to wait for the worst thing to happen to them before there's a story to tell? I think each of you have a beautiful story, each of you have businesses, you have careers that you're managing, your family, and so forth. And I think it's important to celebrate that and not wait for something severe, bad to happen for your name to be remembered. As Sissy spoke about earlier, she doesn't want to be remembered as a hashtag, and then 2 weeks later, people forget about it. And I don't want that to be the case for anyone. So I think such platforms and celebrating each of you in your individual capacities is always a beautiful thing to do. So thank you again, guys, for taking part in this discussion. I hope that as men, we also have our own discussions as well. Some of the previous episodes we've had only guys speaking about some of these issues. So I hope we can continue doing such. But I think as Lerato also spoke about, I hope you guys can also support each other, and hopefully you guys can also share. I will send all you guys emails with everyone's handles and so forth, so you guys can follow each other. But yeah, I want to say thank you again. Hopefully you guys do prosper, and yeah, I wish you all the guys the best. Cool. So yeah, I will send you guys information more about the episode once I've uploaded everything. I will do some editing as well. So in case you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. But yeah, I think thank you again. I must just give a round of applause to Bali for hosting. It's her first time hosting the discussion, so a round of applause for her. But yeah, thank you guys again. Obviously, due to time, I was hoping we're going to wrap up much earlier, but thank you again for joining. Have a blessed weekend, and look forward to hearing more from you guys. So yeah, thank you guys. I don't know if anyone in Bali want to close it up or if everything's been said.
Yeah. No, I just literally wanted to just say thank you so much, ladies. And I am so glad that you are so progressive. I am so glad that you have your own thought process, especially in a society that tries to keep you in a box. It's so beautiful to watch. And I really can tell that future generations are in very, very great hands. Continue to do great things, and continue being a Black woman, and continue being great. You're all beautiful, you're all lovely, and you all matter. I'm done, and thank you so much.
In that case, I will share everyone's handles and so forth via email. But yeah, thanks again. For the rest of your weekend, and yeah, I will let you know, guys, once everything's up. Cool. Thanks you again, guys.